Alright, here's my full commentary run of Shadow of Mordor. Let's go. As far as I know, this is the first full commentary run that I've done, and possibly anybody else has done. I don't remember anybody else doing one. So this will double as like a good introduction to the run and like tutorial for anybody who wants to learn it. I've heard from at least one person recently saying they wanted to learn it. So here goes. The combat is basically Arkham Asylum. It's sort of horde-based attacking. You're usually attacking multiple guys at once. So you're attacking one guy, countering the next, and so on. It sort of flows. Your basic sword attacks don't do much damage. So the main way of killing grunts with your sword is to knock them down to the ground and then do a ground execution. So like with this guy, I attack him 6 times. And then he gets knocked down, and you do the ground execution. He actually died from that, which is kind of unusual, but I'm alright with it. Unfortunately, this guy's attacking me instead of just attacking Deerheil. Oh wow, that other guy died too. Alright, that was an incredibly fast fight. Oh, I thought that was the last one, okay. There were actually 2 left, that's alright. The first fight doesn't really matter much. Here's the introduction to stealth mechanics. It is actually faster to stealth walk here than to normal walk. Without sprinting, it's faster to sneak than to walk. The stealth mechanics are pretty much exactly the same as in Assassin's Creed, as is the movement.
We should have left when we had the chance.
Don't move. I'll clear a path. I'm outnumbered. Stealth is my only advantage.
Alright, so next it introduces ranged attacks. Ranged attacks are pretty much the most powerful attacks you have against all enemies except captains and warchiefs. A single charged headshot kills pretty much anybody. The main limitation is that you don't have much ammo, so you have to be very accurate with it and plan out your attacks in advance for the speedrun. So for this first bit, you have 4 arrows and there are 4 enemies. You also get a limited supply of focus, which is basically just bullet time, where it slows down to help you aim. So by managing that carefully, you can get pretty accurate headshots.
We missed one of you at Narcos, eh? An easy mistake to fix.
Focus automatically begins as soon as you pull out your bow, so as soon as you pull it out, just press space to deactivate it. And then as you're charging, turn it off, and when it's almost charged, you turn it back on so you can aim and release right when the shot charges. Your shot charges at the same speed regardless of whether or not you're using focus. And here it introduces the Nemesis mechanic, which is the main feature of the game, where you gain information about all these various captains and warchiefs, and using that information you can use their weaknesses against them to kill them. The main thing you have to worry about for the speedrun is that there's a mission in the first area that requires you to kill 4 of the 5 warchiefs. So you need to get intel on at least 4 and preferably all 5 of the warchiefs, and then figure out how you're going to kill them. Their locations are random, the requirements to make them appear like their objective is random, and their stats are random, so their strengths and weaknesses vary from run to run. So as you gain intel on all of them, you need to figure out which ones you're going to kill and how you're going to kill them. It's pretty much the most important thing to learn about the run, just like how to know what warchiefs to go after and how to kill them. For this first mission, killing Gimu, he's just a normal captain, he's not a warchief. But since it's a required mission, we have to do it anyway. I also forgot to split. That's pretty normal. When attacking captains and warchiefs, there are 2 cutscenes that you want to try to avoid. The first cutscene will begin whenever the warchief becomes aware of you, and neither of you are stunned or attacking. And the second cutscene is the QuickTime event that occurs when they get to low health and you're nearby them. And what you want to do is try to avoid both of those. So when approaching Gimu, you want to approach him without being seen by him, which I don't think I can do. Alright, cool. I was still able to avoid it. So you do a full Wraith Stun combo, ground execution, and then 3 to 4 headshots. And that kills him without triggering either of the cutscenes. So that was pretty much a perfect fight. You just have to be careful for him not to see that you're coming, so that he doesn't start the cutscene. So long as you're using your bow, the first cutscene will never begin. Alright, so first of all I'm gonna level up. That was the wrong thing. What am I doing? Alright, so the first upgrade you want to get is Elven Swiftness. I'm a little bit rusty, don't worry about it. Elven Swiftness gives you a speed boost whenever you vault over something while running. So you basically just run at double speed for about 5 or 6 seconds after you vault over something. It's a very powerful ability for getting places quickly, which is a rather important thing in speedrunning. So when running from place to place, you want to route out like where all the boulders are that you're going to jump over and stuff like that. And just try to keep double speed going as much as you can. I think there was one other wall back there I could have vaulted over, but I forgot about it. And then here you want to kind of go diagonally over the log, and that gives you the most speed boost. There are a total of, I think, 10 main missions in the first area. And so the order that you do the missions is in the speedrun doc, and I'm going to be doing it in this run, where it tries to tie together the closest like beginnings and ends of each mission so you do a minimum amount of running around. So now I'm doing Gollum 1, and the one that I just did was a Hirgon one, I think. This Karagor only takes 1 shot anywhere to his body to kill, and it doesn't have to be charged because it's just a tutorial. And then for this bit, since I know how much experience I have, so I'm going to level up as soon as I kill a hunter. So what you want to do is kill... Oh, I forgot, that pops up and interrupts you. You want to kill non-hunters, and then when your focus runs out, kill hunters. And that'll give you a refill of both arrows and focus. You wait for the Karagor to kill that guy, and then 2 headshots to the Karagor should kill. And that's how you do that fight. So just kill 2 normal enemies and 2 hunters. And then that'll refill all your ammo and focus. That was the wrong button. I'm rusty, okay. And then you warp back to the Forge Tower. Now the next thing you do is you hit the northwest Forge Tower. Forge Towers are kind of like the towers in Assassin's Creed and stuff like that, where it reveals the surrounding area on the map. And you can also fast travel to Forge Towers that you've hit. And this is the most convenient time to hit the northwest Forge Tower. You have to warp to it a number of times, because it's the closest one to the start of the Hirgon missions. And you don't want to unlock your ability yet. You're not actually going to use it. Okay, that was weird. Whatever. I hit spacebar like you're supposed to get the speed boost, but I ended up just dodge rolling, but it still gave me the speed boost afterwards anyway. So that was kind of weird.
I don't like the sound of that.
Alright, and here's the Forge Tower. And the next mission is Ratbag 1. You want to start gathering information on the Warchiefs as quickly as possible, and you only unlock the ability to get info on Warchiefs after Ratbag 2, so doing the Ratbag missions right away is important. So that you can actually use intel to go after the Warchiefs. Right. And you don't actually have to press anything, you'll just automatically follow Ratbag. There's no way to make him move faster, unfortunately. There is something that you can do. if you grab that dude with the torch on the right,
We have similar goals, Ranger.
and then just back into Goroth while holding that orc, you can push Ratbag around the entire map.
Somebody
But unfortunately that doesn't actually accomplish anything.
So this Goroth is in charge?
There's a very small time save you can go for here by killing 2 spiders.
Directly to the Black Hand. I'll show them all when I'm in the Black
And then you kill another spider later on. And if you do that, just grab this elf shot right there. And if you do it right, Ratbag will never stop moving.
Hard on his neck.
And that advances the hunting challenge. Alright, so here there are 5 enemies. So you just use elf shot to kill... Oh geez, I was not prepared for where they were. Use elf shot to kill 4 of them, which I did not succeed at doing. Alright. So ideally you would, alright, one thing you can do here is attack Ratbag to make him move a little bit faster along his path.
Goroth's been out for Ratbag for years.
Anyway.
Smug piece of dung he is. We come to blows as far back as Ratbag can remember. Still.
The next part of the small time save, basically you want to avoid getting this forge tower here because it's more efficient to get it during Here Gone 3. It takes less time to get it during that mission. But you need the Miriam that you get for hitting the forge tower. So if you can kill 3 spiders before you get to this forge tower, you can get it later on instead of right now. Unfortunately there's not a 3rd spider around, so I couldn't do it. That's a very small thing, it only saves maybe like 3 or 5 seconds. So it's not really a big deal. Then here, as soon as you see Ratbag's icon disappear from the map, it's safe to move forward. Otherwise, if you go forward too quickly, it'll fail the mission because you got too far away from him. Unfortunately, there was an orc in the way. Usually there isn't, and you can just run straight past. And if anybody's trying to talk in chat, Twitch servers are just totally down, or Twitch chat servers. So, I appreciate that you're here, but there's not much you can do to actually talk in chat right now. Hope you enjoy it anyway. Alright, for the last part of this mission you want to kill Goroth, and this is also a very convenient time to hit the next forge tower, which is right next to Goroth.
Captain who fears his own beast.
Fear is a powerful tool, Talion.
So just run on forward to the forge tower. Then the timing for actually killing Goroth is kind of important, if you want to do it really quickly. So you want to shoot the Caragor cage, which will frighten Goroth, because he has fear of Caragors. And shortly after you do that, jump on him, and then grab him, dominate, and kill. And that's the fastest way to kill Goroth. You automatically get his rune. It's a pretty low-level rune, and there's no efficient way to actually see what it is. So you only know what rune you got from him later on. It takes too much time to actually like look at the rune. Most runes in the game are not actually useful.
First I'm resurrected by
The bow runes are the most useful because they're the ones that give you more focus.
what could possibly be next.
Bow runes that give you extra focus on headshots and such like that are very, very nice. Alright, so during the run to the next mission, you want to go ahead and unlock Detonate and Execution, and then level up your Elf Shot. And we're going to use the extra Elf Shot for the next fight. This next fight is actually very difficult, and it's important to do it right, or else you can waste a lot of time. I'd say that this is pretty much the first difficult fight of the run. You don't actually have to care about the archers. So the first thing you want to do is kill this guy on the far left, because nobody will see him die. But I messed up. Alright, now everybody saw him die, so I'm basically just winging this. You want to kill the guys on the left, because that'll keep you undetected for the longest. Alright. I was able to counter his attack before it hit me, so I still have my hit counter going, so I'm still charging up an execution. So I can get a ground execution and a normal execution off here. Then there's Elf Shot that you can pick up inside this, oh, I forgot he has Vault Breaker. Alright, we'll have to go around. There's more Elf Shot that you can pick up right here. And during the fight, your focus will regen, so you can just use the Elf Shot and the rest of your focus to kill off the rest of his orcs.
Keep the executioner alive. Our path lies in his mind.
Alright, then once everybody else is dead, you can grab him and dominate. That was a pretty slow fight because I missed that first shot. But it's a very difficult fight overall, so I'm not terribly surprised that happens. I'm still about on pace with world record, so it doesn't matter much. Sometimes his rune there will spawn fast enough for you to grab it before this cutscene starts, but most of the time you're not going to have the time to do it. The rune he dropped is not useful. I can tell because the only dagger runes, and I think even sword runes that are useful, are all epic runes. The only non-epic runes that are useful for the speedrun are bow runes, so unless it's a bow rune or an epic rune, don't bother picking it up. And then starting after that mission is when you can start getting intel on the Warchief, so if you see an intel on the way to this mission, go ahead and grab it. So from here on out, I'm going to be collecting intel on the rest of the Warchiefs.
Rattle the cage and bring out the beast.
And just kill these two Berserkers with Elf Shot. And then there's a pretty fast and consistent way to kill Moog, which I will get the opportunity to show off here. Alright. So you want to stand at the right base of the platform that Moog is on.
The pain of my twin shall echo within you.
And then you Wraith Stun him towards the exploding barrels. Then you do a full flurry combo and a ground execution. Then a normal execution. And then explode the barrels. And then it only takes 1 or 2 headshots after that to finish him off. The thing you want to avoid there is the quick time event. So if he gets to low health and you're nearby him and not using your bow, it'll start up the quick time event, which wastes quite a bit of time compared to just shooting him in the head. Alright, so there's a very common intel that spawns over here on a dead body, right next to this log, but it did not spawn this time. I usually go by there because it's pretty common for it to be there. There is intel there, but unfortunately the guy's getting mauled by a Caragor, so I don't really want to bother with it. There's another intel on top of the hill, but that would probably also take a while to get because he's in a large group of orcs. So there's a lot of places to get intel along the route. I just wasn't lucky enough to get any convenient ones in there. So for the Gollum mission, you want to wait a short time. Okay, actually kill the archer and then shoot that. And that'll scare off all these guys. And then shoot this archer through this little crack. And that's all the enemies in the area. Sometimes one of these guys will have intel. Alright, so when following Gollum around, you want to be constantly sprint running, or sneak running, I guess, whatever it's called. If you're nearby Gollum and sprint running, then or sneak running, I don't even know what to call it, whatever this crouch run is, he will move a little bit faster. So just constantly be crouch running around. But don't get too far away from him because he'll stop walking. And once Gollum gets to about here, you can sprint ahead to on top of this pillar. And then you wait until Gollum's little icon on the map turns directly to the right. And then you can sprint run off of it. And that way you don't get away from him too fast. If you go too far away from Gollum, then you fail the mission. Alright, so note the time. My timer was at 1930 when this fight started. That's actually a really important thing to know, because ghouls will constantly respawn until 1 minute after this fight starts. So basically you just want to time 1 minute after this begins, and then you can start killing them. Getting this Forge Tower is not strictly necessary. You're only going to warp to it if there's a Warchief nearby. So it's kind of safe strats to grab it, but I usually do grab it. Unless you already know where Warchiefs are, it's usually best to grab it. And then just stand on top of these boxes, because they can't climb boxes, and then you just sit here. The time spent in the cutscene with the Forge Tower does not add to the end of the respawn timer, so I'm actually going to wait until 2035. So they're all pretty grouped up around this barrel. So right at 2035 I'm going to blow this up, and that pretty much just instantly completes the mission. Unfortunately, one of them survived. There he is.
That halfling
Close. Alright. And the next mission you want to do is up by the Northwest Forge Tower.
will betray us to the Black Hand the first chance he gets.
He has no love for the Dark Lord. That creature has a part to play in the fate of all Middle-earth.
So the next one you want to do is Gollum 3, which is the last of the Gollum missions. And this is the one that gives you a Shadow Strike. Yes, I think that's what it's called. It's been so long. I don't actually pay attention to the names of moves, I just use them.
Yeah, the little vermin.
And Shadow Strike is really, really helpful for movement, because it basically just lets you teleport to any enemy at the cost of 2 elf shot, which is very, very powerful in a speedrun. This Karagor will usually not attack you if you just run past him. And all you have to do is climb up here to start up this cutscene. Your aim will automatically lock onto the meat, so just hold down right click and then left click as soon as you pull the bow out.
The cave's mouth will only lead us into the Graug's jaws. A
And
well-placed
sprint
arrow
on
will
in.
do the trick here.
Whoops. I failed that speed boost. Alright, the fastest way to move through this area
Thick in death.
is to head up here. Because you get a speed boost there, and then you get another speed boost here.
Looks like the Graug won his fight against the Karagors.
And now is ready for another.
It's kind of unlucky not to have any intel yet, but it happens. You just have to make do with what you get. Irgon 2 is the next mission, and it's the last mission before the only thing left to do is killing Warchiefs, so hopefully I get some intel during Irgon 2.
Fly, you fool.
Grab more elf shot. Don't bother teleporting here, it's not really worth it. You get a speed boost anyway. And teleport to this one. Do not teleport there, just teleport to this guy. And teleport to the far one there, and that initiates this cutscene. And that's the fastest way of getting through that cave.
I grasp at vespers of memory.
Alright.
Wings of power.
Next thing to do is Irgon 2, so you just sprint along these boulders.
Power became their undoing. They became the ring wraiths.
Yes, the Nazgul.
And head up here.
But the Nazgul were destroyed.
As are many who come in contact with the rings.
I'm going to have some time here, so I'm going to explain one little note about the Warchiefs. The Warchief objective is always something that you can do, so if you haven't leveled up something, then you'll never get an objective that requires you to do that thing. So for example, one of the possible Warchief objectives is to use Strike from Above to kill, I think, 3 or 5 of his supporters, and that's a pretty slow mission. So if you get intel without leveling that up, you will never get that mission. So on average, the Warchief that you get intel on will have a slightly faster objective if you don't level Strike from Above up until you absolutely need it.
It's toxic and is good for one thing: poisoning orcs. Follow me.
And yeah, Twitch chat doesn't work very well. I saw what you said, Burnsies, but
It was Aaron.
most everybody else hasn't really gotten much
See
through.
the reason you joined the tribesmen.
Blame
Of the many,
Twitch.
she is my most cherished. There are only so many camps my wife could have been taken to.
Alright, chat is actually working again.
This one.
My heart says yes.
I hope for your sake she is, Hirgon.
I'm going to waste a small amount of time and put Botnak up on the stream, so we actually have chat. Welcome back, everyone. Alright. So once you get to that boulder, you can start sprinting along here. Otherwise you move up too quickly. So you want to cut this one out, shoot whoever saw you, then cut this one, and then sneak around to this one. You want to avoid attacking these guys if possible, or aggroing them. If they start attacking you, then you have to kill all of them before proceeding, because otherwise Hirgon will fight them. So basically only killing one guy during that is pretty much how you want to do it.
Where did you acquire this blasting powder?
Hello everybody. Alright, so this part is kind of difficult and a little bit complicated. You want to hit 2 distracts on that wall right there under the bridge, which will attract one of these guys over. The objective here is to get into combat.
I leave the hard work to men like you.
The reason why you want to get into combat here is that now Hirgon will be standing up instead of crouching around. So instead of just doing this, you'll sprint instead. So he moves a lot faster during this area if you get into combat with those guys. So just get into combat, kill them very quickly, and that speeds up this run right here. And it saves a fair amount of time overall.
In Mordor, even the flowers.
So here you want to do a little bit of safe strats. If you don't kill the guys on the left, then Hirgon will sometimes run over and fight them, which is super annoying. So you want to kill the rearmost guy. I messed up. Alright, hopefully that still works out. And of course use 2 headshots to kill the Caragor. Alright, good. It helps to save at least 1 elf shot for the end of this, because that gives you a backup strat in case you get seen during the next section. Unfortunately I didn't save any. But if you can save 1 elf shot here, it helps out.
I thought it impossible Sauron would ever return.
Controller percent is basically just a joke. We all had a big race doing controller percent in Dishonored.
When we realized we couldn't
It was a
fight,
lot of
we
fun, and I came in
started dressing up like
first.
slaves, sneaking into their camps to
Yeah,
find
I mean,
the
I just use an Xbox 360 controller. Because, like, all of us just play with keyboard. So it's kind of funny watching, like, really good Dishonored runners struggle with the controller.
for the part.
Yeah, it's just controller.
When I was first rescued by the outcasts,
Alright,
they
so
told
you
me
can start
you'd led the
sprinting
search
on this
party
rock
from
right here.
Ireland.
And that way you will not fail the mission. If you start sprinting on that second to last rock next to Hirgon, then you're not going to move forward too fast.
We almost have enough poison for our
A big part of these parts where you like follow Hirgon around is just don't get too far away from him. You have to know how far away from him you can get before failing the mission. And the last plant is back here. Alright, and now we start the last part of the mission.
All you have to do is drop it into their grove.
So for this last bit, you fail the mission if you get detected. If somebody sees you, you have a small amount of time to shoot him in the face with elf shot. And if nobody else saw you, then you're still good. Unfortunately, I don't have any elf shots, that's not an option. So I just have to be careful.
I'll gather my men and wait. We'll stand ready to seize the blasting powder once the camp is clear.
And unfortunately, I haven't seen any intel during this entire mission.
Don't be seen.
As soon as he begins saying that line, you can start going forward. Let's see. Getting intel during this bit is very, very risky, and you should never ever do it. I might have just failed the mission on this guy. Alright, good. I think people have a lot of different routes that they take for these grog barrels. This is my route.
No wonder this stuff burns so well.
There's a lot of different orders in which you can poison the grog barrels. So just do whatever you think is fast. And don't get seen. That's the tough part.
Think of this.
You need to get intel on Warchiefs for you to be able to fight them, so getting intel is mandatory. And it spawns randomly, so it's kind of luck whether or not you get it. But even if you don't get it until now, like after this mission, I absolutely need intel because the only remaining thing required to do is to kill Warchiefs. The intel spawns randomly either on orcs nearby or in certain locations like on paper or dead bodies. There's a dead body just over this cliff right here, which pretty much always has intel. Unfortunately, this guy has intel as well. So I get 2 intel right here. That makes up for some of my bad luck. Alright. Kill defenders, fear of Caragors. That guy has a fairly fast mission, so I'll probably be killing him.
Thank you. You must go back and rescue my friends.
And this guy is very nearby. Detonate grog stacks, vulnerable to stealth. Okay, so this guy has a very, very fast mission, so I'm going to be killing him right now. Any Warchief that's vulnerable to stealth is very quick to kill. Warchiefs are never vulnerable to ranged, otherwise that would be the fastest. And also destroying grog barrels is also a very fast objective. So this is going to be very quick. Hey Ari, good to see you again. Hey Pen.
This Warchief cannot resist the lure.
I don't know why people don't run it anymore. I don't run it anymore because I have the world record. And I don't usually run games that I have the record in. I can't speak for anyone else though. Alright, so now I just have to go into stealth. Yeah, this is a really fun game. It's one of my favorite speedruns for sure, because it has a lot of interesting decision making with the Warchiefs, which I'm gonna do my best to explain right now. Dang, I would love to be able to teleport to that archer, but he's not actually in line of sight right now. Let's see. Just need to get close to this guy. And he dies. Gotcha. Epic dagger runes are never useful. Like, there's literally not a single useful dagger rune. There are a couple that can be useful, so like, it might be worth getting that, but I'm just not gonna bother. And there's no intel nearby that I saw, so I'm just gonna head to the next one. This guy has fear of Caragors, so once he gets scared, then I can grab him and... Warchiefs and captains also give intel. So if there's a Warchief that has fear of Caragors or something, then you can just use him as a piece of intel. Coming through. Alright.
Our enemy hides behind
There are a lot of
the sea
Caragors in this area, so I should be able to get this guy afraid pretty fast. Also, there is intel over here. Unfortunately, this intel is going to take some time. Oh wait, never mind, it's the archer. Okay. Yeah, this is pretty fast. That guy's over there and doesn't have any weaknesses. I only have to kill one of the remaining 2 Warchiefs after this, so I have to decide how I want to go about that. That was the wrong button. I'm also going to go ahead and upgrade Strike from Above, Crit, and Stealth Drain here. Might as well. And as I said, ranged attacks are just by far the best way of killing basically any non-captains. Alright, I only need to kill one more defender. And I'd rather do it without attracting everybody to me. I'm gonna sneak down here instead of running across the bridge. Got him. Alright, so now I just have to use Fear of Caragors to kill this guy. Alright. Let's see.
I suppose it was my imagination. Stay alert, just in case.
Oh, there we go. Alright, so that'll make this guy scared. I didn't actually mean to jump down here. I wanted to climb on a wall or something. So now I'm just going to wait till this guy runs away and then Shadow Strike to him. Because, like, now I can grab him and interrogate. Actually, let's see if it'll work right now. If you're attacked during this animation, then yeah, it cancels. That's unfortunate. I almost made it. I also don't have enough elf shot to Shadow Strike, which is very, very bad. Is there elf shot nearby? I don't see any. This guy's not even running away, and I need him to. Alright, there we go. If I had 2 elf shot, I could just teleport to him right now, but I don't, so I have to do it like this. Alright, that'll work. A bit slow. It's fine though. So I'm gonna get intel on this last guy. Vulnerable to stealth. Alright, so I'm gonna kill the last Warchief and skip the 4th. Nice, a bow rune. Bow runes have a high likelihood of being useful, so let's hope I got lucky. Stand fast. This is the RTSR of bow runes. It doubles your damage when you're at a quarter health or below, which actually is not all that good. I wish it was. Which of these two was it? I think it's the guy on the left here. I'm gonna check real fast. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Oh no, this is Squealer? Okay, so this is literally the slowest possible objective. But I still think it's gonna be faster than doing the other guy, so I'm gonna try it. I really, really hate this objective though. Oh, this is gonna be miserable.
Make this Uruk scream, and his master shall answer.
So you have to grab this guy and not be attacked for 20 seconds. It's so hard. Alright, let's start. He's even next to a captain.
I don't think anything was ever there. We'll have to find a fight somewhere else then.
Alright. Let's get more elf shot. I'm basically just hoping that this guy wanders away. He's not going to, though. Okay. God damn it. Alright, so... yeah, this is not going to work. I'm going to leave the mission and just do the other one. Hello, Ixler. Yeah, unfortunately that mission is just, like, too slow and too difficult. So I'm just going to do the other mission. And yeah, there's a lot of luck with what missions you get and stuff like that, but that's just how the run is. So this mission is also pretty slow. You have to kill a lot of orcs without taking damage.
No weapon can touch us.
I don't speedrun this game very often. I wish I did, because it's really fun. You have to kill 20 orcs without taking damage, which is still easier than the Squealer mission. So yeah, I just got 2 really bad missions. Also, this captain is still here. And I do not want to deal with him. That's 4. 6. Actually, I need more elf shots. Let's do this. Oops.
Something just moved over there.
Let's see. Another thing you can do is let out Caragors, because Caragor kills count as your own kills for this mission. So using Caragors and explosives is a pretty valid way of doing this. Alright, 5 more. All Uruks will die to a single headshot, and archers die to a single body shot. As do hunters. Oh man. I only need 1 more.
Captain says there's reports that the Ranger might be in the area.
Here we go. That took way too long. Of course I did, Arrow. Everything awesome I do is totally on purpose. Alright. So this guy doesn't really have any weaknesses. Is he invulnerable to stealth? Yeah, he is. So unfortunately, there isn't really a good way of going about this.
Oh, you can't hurt me.
He's an archer, so he'll die pretty fast. And I got him alone, which is very, very convenient. I don't think he had any bodyguards. So he's actually going to die really fast. Unfortunately, he has both Wraith Stun and Vault Blocker. And Quick Shot, so he's actually a very, very, very powerful archer. Fortunately, regular attacks still work just fine.
There will be no retreat for you this time.
This guy wasn't a bodyguard, he's just that guy that was hanging around. Alright.
The Dark Lord himself will avenge my death.
Slow objective, slow fight. Not much you can do about it. Out of curiosity, we'll see what the rune is. Alright, so now that I've killed 4 Warchiefs, I can now start up Hirgon 3.
I'll make you go out alone to fight the crowd.
I split upon entering this mission. There's a long time between splits because there's so much improvisation and route changes that go on based on the Warchiefs that you get. So the splits that I have are pretty much the only places that I can split that will be consistent, where I've always accomplished the same number of objectives every time I split there, no matter what run it is.
Steal a cart of grog from the Uruk. It will make quite the
So splitting at the start of this mission is the first point at which all of my runs sort of come together.
The ghouls have turned on the Uruks. Nature's darkness cannot be tamed.
I don't run non-lethal ghost anymore, and I've never run all collectibles, so I'm not really interested in running the combination.
Be ready. When there's grog.
So, no.
When I'm through, no Uruks will draw breath.
Alright, so the important thing about this bit is you want to get into combat at least once during all of this, so that Hirgon starts running up to fight with you.
The spark of our rebellion.
Unfortunately, I think everybody's going to die really fast, so I'm not going to get the opportunity. Okay, good. So now that I'm in combat with this guy, Hirgon's going to start running up. So I'm going to wait to kill him so Hirgon runs for a while. And now he'll start crouch walking again. That's fine.
All clear, men! Excellent, Talion. Now we must ensure our men can push the cart to the monument free from harm. Look.
Ooh, it's also important to come out of that fight with a lot of elf shot left.
This decay.
I kind of forgot to do that.
Gondor must not fall prey to the Shadow.
Because elf shot helps quite a bit during the next fight. This will still work though.
Let's move.
Alright, I'm not going to explain why, because that would take a while, but during this run right here, you want to let out this Caragor. Then as soon as the orcs spawn, you want to kill 2 of them. Usually the archers, because they're the easiest to hit. And that'll cause the ghouls in the next area to spawn. And that way the ghouls and the Caragor will start fighting those orcs during all of this. So you don't have to waste much time, because most of them are already going to be dead by the time you get there. Like, 4 of them are already dead, and I only shot 2. It's also important to do that because Hirgon not getting into combat makes it far more likely. I need elf shot. Hirgon not getting into combat during this part makes it far more likely that he will run instead of walk during the next section, which is a pretty big deal. Alright, only one guy left, and I don't know where he is. There he is. He never even fought anybody, he's just sort of crouching there. That's unusual. Alright. So now all the ghouls and the Caragor are dead, so Hirgon will run during this part instead of walking, because he never gets into combat to interrupt his run. And he just got into combat for absolutely no reason. So hopefully he'll still run. Okay, good. That scared me. Hirgon walking during this part wastes like, I don't know, half a minute, because he has to run so far. Alright, and if you skipped getting this Forge Tower during Ratbag 1, then you get it now instead. This Hirgon will not stop to wait for you during any of this, whereas if you get this during Ratbag 1, Ratbag will stop and wait for you. So getting it during this mission doesn't waste time.
Made in stones of memory.
And Hirgon is the same as Gollum, in that he will move faster if you crouch run next to him.
Similar beasts. You'll get Uruk guts as a reward.
And just go ahead and shoot that ghoul as soon as he spawns. I don't actually know if Hirgon will get up to fight him, because I've never not killed him. Also, Hirgon runs super fast during this part, and I don't know why he doesn't run this fast during other parts. It just annoys me that he's capable of running so fast and chooses not to. Hirgon is the second most annoying NPC in the game. Oh god, leaving missionary is the worst thing to see right now. Alright, if you get too far away from Hirgon during this, then you can fail the mission. So if Hirgon runs to the other end of the bridge, and you're on the opposite end, then you can fail the mission even though you're both fighting ghouls. It's really annoying. So staying around the center of it is safest. Then you can refill your elf shot on this.
My men will protect the cart. Let's clear the ridge so they may pass. Be ready, Talion. The next outpost will be the largest.
It's too quiet. Something is amiss.
Alright, for this bit you don't want to let out this Caragor. It wastes too much time. And because I'm curious, I'm going to see what this was. Oh, Betrayer. Betrayer is actually useful. I forgot about Betrayer. It's not all that good of a rune, but it's still worth equipping. It increases damage when you attack somebody from behind. It doesn't come up very often. Wow, Hirgon started running right away. That's actually pretty lucky. Hirgon likes to just stand around for a bit after that fight.
The monument is upon us. A tribute to darkness built by the blood of my people.
Most annoying NPC number 1 is the pretend Scottish dwarf.
Look, that monument will soon fall.
You'll get to know him. Alright, so here you want to distract there, which will get both of those guys to start running over.
Our success depends on your ability to clear the outpost of Uruk. Only then can my men get into
It
position
should.
to destroy the monument.
Alright, apparently I didn't distract this guy. That's actually really awkward.
Now that their warchiefs are followed by
I didn't have enough elf shot to kill the guy that I distracted. Then here you can shoot both of those. See, there's still a guy down there, right? Yeah. There's a fly nest that you can use to scare this guy. Darn it. Also, the hitbox on that extends beyond the wall itself, which is really annoying. So this is pretty slow. The Caragors that I released are doing work in the meantime, though. And you can also use the fly nest here to get rid of enemies. And as always, elf shot is by far the best way of eliminating dudes. Yeah. Alright, so this part right here, there's a very small time save that you can get with very, very, very good timing. And I completely forgot what the timing was. So if Pennigan could remind me, I'd really appreciate it. There's an archer that spawns up here that shoots an arrow. That was at 48.5. That shoots an arrow during the next cutscene, but you can actually kill him, and you won't have to kill him during the next bit. He spawns right in front of that little crack right there at a certain point in time, but I forget what that time is. Too early? Yeah, there. You can kill him as he spawns there. It's a very tight timing. And that way you don't have to kill him here. Getting headshots will give you more Miriam because it does the bonus objective. It's not all that important though. Torvin is really annoying for the speedrun because I feel like he wastes the most time just talking, but I didn't mind him all that much casually. It's mostly just for the speedrun that he's annoying. And you don't have to bother with the second wave of archers. You can just keep pushing the cart. Whoops. I accidentally jumped, so I can't
These
fast travel.
outcasts,
Alright. Still not available.
seems I am less of a
Yeah, how about now?
monster in death than I was in life.
Alright, the hammer is the first boss fight.
It is the Black Hand
He's
that
the end of
protects
zone
from
number
the
1,
true
so I'm going to spend the rest of the game in
They
the
will
next
return,
area.
And when they do, these men will die.
So we'll get a change of scenery. There are 2 main zones. I've now completed all the objectives except this last one in this zone. Then the last half of the game occurs in zone 2. This boss fight is a lot of fun. It's kind of tricky though. Every 3 attacks or so, the hammer will attack you. And if you've already started attacking him, it's impossible to dodge his attack.
Dark Lord will rule.
Darn it. I tried to execute him there, but the animation didn't start in time. I'm actually handling this very poorly. So you want to get executions on him, and ideally you want to push him towards the campfire that you see in the distance. Shooting the campfire while he's near it deals about 2 executions worth of damage. So once he gets to 75% health, he will do this. It is possible to dodge it by dodging before the cutscene begins, but you have to know that it's coming. He does that AoE again at 50% health, so he'll do it now. Then he does it one last time at about 20% health. Darn. I wasn't sure if he'd do that or not. You can interrupt his reflections of your ranged attacks by just attacking him directly. And now he's going to do another AoE. Or at least he should. There he goes. Ah, I didn't get an attack off in time. Alright, and that starts the quick time event. That was a pretty sloppy fight. It takes a lot of practice to do that fight well, and it's been a while since I've done it. But basically you just have to know that the AoEs occur at 75%, 50%, and 20% health. He will counterattack you after about every 3 attacks, so after you get 3 attacks in a row off on him, you want to dodge right away. And other than that, just be good at fighting. Alright, and now we go to zone number 2.
We have defeated the Hammer of Sauron, but the Black Hand and the Tower remain.
And their master.
You can Shadow Strike towards the guys over here, but they take a while to spawn. So I'm not sure if it's faster to Shadow Strike or just to run like I do. Also, I split at the wrong time for the hammer. I usually split right when I stab his throat, but I forgot about it. Splitting is like the first thing I forget in basically any speedrun, and it's the last thing I learn when learning a new speedrun. Probably because it's the least important part of his speedrun because it doesn't actually affect the run itself.